Yes, I made something. And I recorded it as well. Would you like to see the video? Come on. Hello, and welcome back to the channel, y'all. It's good to see you. If this is your first time, I appreciate you for hanging out and allowing YouTube to shove this in your face. So, I did a thing, just a little diorama type of thing of how I weather, ballast, and do a little extra zhuzhing to track work. We all know that there are many ways to skin a cat, many ways to use Photoshop. There's many ways to do everything, especially in this hobby. These are just my ways, and hopefully you can take some of these little tidbits here and there and apply them to yours. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, what's going on, y'all? So here's a quick little project that I feel like I wanted to share. So it's just me doing some track work and showing my process with this little quote-unquote diorama. And I just had some scrap foam and scrap track laying around. What you see me do there, I just cut some ties out and then made one of the ties or two of the ties kind of not connected to the other ones, to where I can, make it crooked, shift it a little bit, and have it look like it's been out there for a minute. Here I use Rust-Oleum, that brown camouflage, to paint the tracks. Some people use airbrush. Some people use just paints in general. This is typically what I do. And then once I have it all painted, it's dry, I use liquid nails to secure the track to the foam or to the layout itself, the top of the plywood, depending on what I got going on, or if I have cork. So I don't have cork here, it's just I'm gluing it down to the actual foam, but it's the same exact way how I would do it if it was cork or just the plywood by itself. And again, there's several ways to skin a cat. There's several ways to use Photoshop. And there's several ways to do track work. And this is just my way. And then here's some ballast. I got 2 fine and a medium. I typically blend the 2 fine ones, the black one, the cinders, and then that little darker gray one, to get I guess like a not solid black, but as you can see here, there's a little bit of black or a little bit of gray mixed in with that black, so it's not fully black, but I just like darker ballast, that's all. And here I use a finger method to put the ballast in between the ties. There's all those little different machines that are out there that you can just push along on the track, and I just like the spoon and tapping it in there type of thing with my finger. It feels like I'm working. I feel one connected with the track and the ballast, and I just feel like I'm doing something. Not that if you use that little machine that you can load ballast with and push it, or if you do it a different way. Again, this is just me, and I feel for whatever weird reason connected to this. And then you see I put it on a side Same thing with the finger, pushing it in, making sure it's in the little grooves as best as possible. Then I have some alcohol, some super matte medium. I used to use a hodgepodge, and I'll probably still use it every once in a while, but when I tell you that matte medium, I got that from Boomer, and concrete, that stuff is not moving anywhere. Anyway, I put alcohol on here, and you can use a water dishwashing liquid ratio. So like a couple of cups of water with 2 drops of dishwashing liquid will give the same result. And what you're doing is you're breaking up the surface tension to allow the glue water mixture to seep all the way through there. If not, it'll sit on top and it won't get all the way down to the bottom of that ballast, and then you'll have a mess of hard stuff on top and then loose stuff on the bottom, and it's not really sticking like it's supposed to. And that mixture, for me, the glue mixture is just like a 50-50 type thing. Pretty thin, but there's enough glue to hold it together. And I actually missed the part of me recording where I put the dirt on there, so maybe I'll explain that later. But it's pretty much the same thing. You put the dirt down, and then alcohol for the surface tension, and then put your watered down glue over top of the dirt, and you're doing the same thing like you did with the ballast. But let me catch up here. That what you just seen was the paint that I'm using to I actually paint my rails with a paintbrush, and I think that was track rust, track dust. I can't remember what I just seen, but that's what I use as far as painting my rails. Now I do go back over in certain little places with some powders too, just to give it that rusty feeling look, because when this dries, it dries flat, but there is still maybe just a little sheen, right? And I want it to be dusty like rust is. Kind of what I'm doing here actually is using like some white paint and mixed with a little gray and mixed with a little yellow, and I'm actually painting the ties to simulate that they're old and they've been out there for a while and they're starting to change colors. And I'm just painting where you can see the actual tie itself. And here I'm adding a little bit of powder. I think I got some concrete color powder that I'm adding as well. Again, just to give it like not to have any sheen on there. I want it to be really like if you touch it, you can rub some of it off on your fingers and hands and stuff. Excuse me. All right, what I'm doing here is painting the tops of these nails or track pins or whatever you want to call them, spikes, and I'm just dabbing it with, I think this is medium rust or something like that, medium rust paint from Ammo, just to add a little bit of more. I had some reference, and some of those plates and the spikes, they tend to rust really bad if they've been sitting out for a while in certain areas. And here I'm adding a little bit of rust powder to pull some of that rust out and make it look like it's fading out a little bit. Now this is a little bright for me as I was doing this, so I went back over it with like a earth brown pigment to dull it down just a tad bit. Here I'm adding just a little bit of grass, and maybe not even grass, maybe moss or something is growing there, like some clovers or something. It's small, so you really can't tell, but that is I'm sorry, I blanked out for a second. I also have ground up real leaves that I use. I love using the ground up real leaves for ground cover as well. And again, I'm doing the same thing, just adding alcohol to do the surface tension, and then my mixture of matte medium. Here I'm using the matte medium just straight out the bottle, which I'm getting ready to do some flocking. Just adding some grass over the area where I got the dirt that has fully covered the tracks, because grass has grown there. And then I added some grass throughout the rest of this little practice slash, I don't know how I do it, diorama type thing. And I'm using the Static King from Woodland Scenics as my applicator, the static grass thing. And here it is, you know. I did a little more afterwards that I did not record, so I added like some, I wouldn't call them oil stains, but probably oil stains, or like something happened to where something leaked on the side of the tracks here and there. Added some more powders, darker powders to the side. Right here you can see, like right in the middle there where the camera is, there's a dark area. There's a couple other dark areas, but you know, this is all of, you know, you looking at reference and finding these different references and just piecing stuff together to make it your own. Now, I typically don't go this detailed on tracks like in the yard or under a bridge or in a tunnel or something like that, because you won't be able to see that stuff. Like this level of track detailing, one, is probably just for dioramas by themselves, or if your layout is, you know, you got some close to the edge where you want to take pictures of trains going by or something like that. But I don't think I'd ever go this high detail in certain areas on my layout. But yeah, this is my process, you know, just how I do buried track, if you will, and weathering track. Appreciate y'all for hanging out, and we're gonna close up this video. Peace. Okay, and yeah, that was the video of me weathering and ballasting some track. I hope that, you know, you found some use in it, and maybe you can use a little bit of this and a little bit of that on your tracks. Super quick project. It didn't take long at all. If anything, it was just the drying time so I can keep recording something. Other than that, though, it was a fun little practice to keep the juices flowing with weathering and stuff like that. Yeah, take away what you can. If you got any comments you want to leave about, you know, how you do certain things, you know, let's just talk about what you do. Patreon, I want to thank y'all. I appreciate you, for real. I appreciate y'all. A lot of this happens because of you guys' support, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And that's it, y'all. Check out the next video. And I got some cool stuff coming up, so make sure you keep me locked in, and I'll see you next time. Peace.